Hello, I am Erica Fogelman, and I want to warmly welcome you to my course, How to Design a Room in 10 Easy Steps. The reality is that for many people, interior design is a challenging task. Bringing together a room in a way that is both functional and aesthetically pleasing can be incredibly time-consuming and expensive, and you may not even end up with a room that you love. But pulling together a room does not have to be difficult. In fact, most designers follow a fairly systematic approach, and I am here today to help break down that approach for you in an easy-to-digest way. By the end of this course, you will have all the tools that you need to pull together just about any room, and it's only going to take you 10 distinct steps to do so. In fact, throughout the course, if you choose to participate in the activities, I will walk you through the main steps to designing a room in your own home. Now, that said, by the end of this course, you obviously won't be an expert in interior design because there is quite a bit of education and experience that goes into this particular field. But I am confident that you will be able to design a room that you are definitely happy with. During this course, you will learn and be able to quickly apply the key elements to creating a fantastic room design, including, but not limited to, identifying your preferred style, choosing a great color scheme with a simple formula, selecting the right size rug for a room, choosing the right furniture, creating a layered lighting scheme that is both functional and dramatic, selecting the right finishing touches, including your window coverings, greenery, and your accessories. And finally, you will receive some great recommendations from me on where you can purchase your furnishings at all price points. First though, let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about myself. I own my own residential interior design business called Erica Dawn Interiors. I have a tremendous passion for designing rooms that create excitement and comfort for both myself as well as my clients. And I am so excited to be able to share some of my knowledge with you so that you can begin creating your own beautiful and your own functional rooms. As I mentioned, designing a room well can be broken down into 10 distinct steps. So what are these 10 steps? Well, without any further ado, here they are. Step 1, measure your room. Step 2, decide on your key activities. Step 3, choose your style. Step 4, choose your color scheme. Step 5, choose your rug. Step 6, choose your furniture. Step 7, choose your wall art and wall decor. Step 8, choose your lighting. Step 9, choose your window coverings. And last but not least, step 10, choose your accessories and your greenery. During the course of this training, I will be breaking down each of these 10 steps in detail so that you walk away with the knowledge that you need to replicate this 10-step approach all on your own. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Now, I realize that this is only a 1-hour course, and in that 1 hour, you will learn a lot about how to pull together a well-designed room. But for those of you who are anxious and looking for a way to make a big impact in your space right now, then this lecture is definitely for you. I am going to show you how adding just 3 elements to a room will make it look instantly more polished, pulled together, and frankly, just downright better. I use these 3 elements all of the time in my work, either in staging homes for sale or with clients who don't have a lot of money to spend and are just looking to refresh their space. Are you ready to hear what these 3 elements are? I know you are, so here they are: a rug, drapes, and greenery. Let me now show you what a big impact these 3 elements have on a room. Take a look at this dining room that I put together in Room Sketcher. It's not too bad, right? We have a farmhouse style dining table, a nice coordinating buffet, a console table opposite the buffet, a pretty iron chandelier, and we even have some artwork over the buffet, which is nicely proportioned. But watch what happens when we add each of these three elements one at a time. Watch how we will take this room from good to great. First, let's add a rug. I'm going to pull the blue out of the painting and choose this blue-gray rug. By adding this rug, we have just grounded that dining table and added texture and interest to the wood floors. In a later lecture, you will learn how to choose the perfect size rug for any room in your home. Now let's go ahead and add some drapes. We have a nice size window, but windows and rooms always look better with curtains or drapes for many reasons. It softens the edges of the window, it adds texture to the walls, it allows you to repeat other colors that you have in the room, which is always a good thing to do with color. And it also allows you to adjust lighting and privacy in a room. So I'm going to go ahead and add in some light gray drapes which reflect the colors we see in the picture and in the undertones of the rug. Wow, what a difference that makes, doesn't it? Instantly we have softened the entire look of the room and we have added some depth to our walls. Later in the course, you will learn how to choose the right height drapes and also how to take inexpensive off-the-shelf drapes and make them look custom. Okay, the room is looking good, but I am not done yet. I always add greenery to a room. Whether it's real or faux, although I prefer real if possible, greenery simply always makes a room look better. So because I also like formal symmetry, I am going to add some matching trees to each corner of the room and a vase of tulips to the buffet to the left of the picture. Look at how much interest and color these items add to our dining room. Did you notice that I chose yellow tulips to reflect the yellow that we see in the painting? Again, look for a way to repeat color throughout the room, as this is very important. Now, let's once again look at where we started. And now, let's look at how much more beautiful this room looks by simply adding a rug, drapes, and some greenery. You too can do this with your own spaces. I challenge you, take any room in your home, apart from your kitchen, and try this out in one of your rooms. I am sure that you will love the results. I hope you found this lecture helpful and easy to follow. Step 1, measure your room. Yes, just like architects and builders, we designers do spend time measuring. Actually, we measure quite a bit. So why is this important? Well, actually, I think this is the #1 area where people most often make mistakes in their home. I'm sure many of you have been there where you end up with a couch that is just too big for your space, or a table that looks way too small compared to other pieces in the room, or the room just doesn't feel right when you look at it. Often, this is due to simply not taking the time to measure the space. Now, as I mentioned, interior designers spend a significant amount of time at the beginning of any project taking measurements of every aspect of the room. However, I'm going to make it much easier for you. All I want you to do is to take 3 measurements of your room: the length of the room, the width of the room, and if you don't know the height of your ceiling, then you will want to go ahead and measure the height of your ceiling as well. Now use a measuring tape like this that you can pick up at your local home improvement store. And draw a very simple floor plan like this, making sure that you notate the measurements of each wall next to the respective wall. So, how do you capture the measurements on your paper? I want you to do it in 1/2-inch scale. How do you do that? Well, it's actually quite easy. Let's say that the length of your room is 12 feet. Then all you need to do is divide that in half, which would be 6. And then using a regular ruler like this, go ahead and draw the 2 lines that are 6 inches in length like this. If the width of your room is 8 feet, then draw those lines as 4 inches on your paper like this. Once you've done that, then you will want to measure the width and height of each of your windows for your window coverings. And here is how I notate the windows on a floor plan with the measurements. Label each window with an A, B, C, etc., and then notate the measurements on the side of your paper. Don't be concerned with placing the windows exactly where they should be on the floor plan. Just try to place them in approximately the right places like this. For your first activity, go ahead and print out the Guide to Designing Your Own Room using the 10-step method in the resources section, and then go ahead and grab a pencil. You will find your first activity on page 1, which will be to measure your room and draw a simple floor plan. Now, you can use a pen, but I always use a pencil, as sometimes I have to erase some lines and start again. So I really recommend using a pencil if you have one. Choose a room in your home that you are looking to design, or if you don't have an actual room that you want to design right now, that's okay. Just go ahead and pick out any room in your house just to get the practice. So for the first activity, your floor plan, make sure that you draw your lines in 1/2-inch scale. And again, you do this simply by dividing the actual measurement of each wall by 2 and capturing that in inches on your paper. Now, one note about measuring. If you do have something that extends from the wall, like a fireplace, make a note on the floor plan as to how far that extends from the wall, as this will impact your furniture selection. Also, if you have a curved wall, then measure the wall in a straight line from one end to the other, and then simply draw in using freehand the shape of the curve. Don't be concerned with ensuring that the curve is exactly correct, but just try and make it as close as possible to the depth of the actual curve. Finally, be sure to draw in any windows that you have in the room as you learned to do in the previous lecture. Step 2, decide on your key activities. What I mean by this is you need to spend some time thinking about what key activities will be taking place in the room. For example, if it's a family room, will you be using it to watch TV, entertain guests, play games, read a book, write, or spend time on hobbies? For a bedroom, you will be sleeping there, of course, but you may also want a place to pay your bills, relax, drink some wine, or just kick back and read a great book. For a dining room, one of your key activities will likely include eating, but you may also want a place to display your books, or perhaps this is a place where your kids can do their homework. So here's a list of all major key activities. Once you've identified which key activities will be taking place in the room, you also need to think about how many people you are planning for. Obviously, if you have a large family of 10 who gets together for dinner regularly, you're going to need a much bigger dining table than for a small family of, say, 3. For your next activity, I want you to capture your key activities on the second page of the same guide you use to draw your floor plan. To do that, just take a look at the screen in just a minute and then write down which key activities will be taking place in the room that you want to design. And again, if you don't have a specific room that you're looking to design right now, then go ahead and stick with your practice room. Again, here are the list of major activities. And of course, there may be other activities as well that I haven't listed. Step 3, choose your style. Given that you are watching this training course, you may already have an interior design style going on in your home. But if you don't, or if you want to change it, it's important to figure out the mood and style that you are going for before you begin picking out any furniture or accessories, as this will help you to greatly narrow down your choices and make your shopping much easier. There are so many wonderful and unique styles out there. Here are some of the main ones. Contemporary, which is characterized by straight, clean lines and a lack of patterns and accessories. Traditional, which has a lot of wood, formal symmetry, soft curves, and generally a more neutral color scheme. Transitional, which can be described as traditional with a contemporary twist. Transitional incorporates warm neutrals for its color scheme, including neutral flooring, lots of different textures, and the furniture has simple, clean silhouettes. Mid-century modern, which is a revival of the interior design style of the 1950s, characterized by simple lines, graphic patterns, and an indoor-outdoor vibe. Industrial, which is all about industrial metals, reclaimed wood, leather, and a cool color scheme. Urban modern, which combines different styles like contemporary and industrial to project a vibe that makes you feel like you are in a cool New York loft. This style uses large, low-profile furniture and graphic patterns in its accessories. Coastal chic, which is known for having lots of light and uses a lot of white, cream, and blues in its color scheme, along with natural fibers such as jute and seagrass, and of course, beach and ocean life decor. Scandinavian, which like contemporary, has clean lines, but is known for its light, bright color schemes and organic materials. French country, which is meant to replicate the laid-back lifestyle of the French countryside, and often has roosters in its decor. Zen, which is a simple, clean, minimalist style, a neutral color scheme, water features, and generally low-profile furniture. Bohemian, which you can see is wild and messy in its approach, with a bold, bright color scheme, and includes rich patterns. Farmhouse, which is somewhat like the French country style, and includes distressed woods, upholstered linen, and a lighter color scheme. And finally, Western, which is known for its leather furniture and specialty items like cowhide rugs, antler chandeliers, and yes, even wagon wheel coffee tables. Now, if you don't already know your style, which of the styles are you most drawn to? Now, you can definitely mix styles, but I have to admit that this generally takes a little forethought and time to do it well. So my advice is to just pick one to make it easy on yourself. Now, that being said, if you really love two of them, then what you should do is pick a primary style and then add in some elements of another style. For example, industrial actually mixes quite well with almost any style. I've seen it mix with a traditional style like this, where you see very traditional case molding and an industrial pendant light with industrial Tolex side chairs. You can also mix industrial easily with a transitional style or a farmhouse style. In general, though, the style throughout your home should be fairly consistent. Otherwise, your home will feel a bit disjointed rather than harmonious. However, one way around this is to choose a primary style and then use sub-styles, if you will, in different rooms. For example, in one of my projects, the entire house is decorated in a transitional style. But one of the rooms has industrial elements mixed in, while another room has contemporary elements mixed in, and yet it all flows together quite well. So, how do you choose a style? As with many things in interior design, this really comes down to what type of mood you want for your home. Do you prefer a more laid-back lifestyle? If so, then I would recommend you choose an industrial, coastal chic, French country, bohemian, or farmhouse style. Or do you prefer a more elegant feel to your home? If so, then go with a traditional or transitional style. Maybe you are a country girl or boy at heart. If so, then look to farmhouse or Western styles. But if you love big cities and urban lifestyles, then I would definitely recommend a contemporary or urban modern style. If you want your home to have a calm, relaxing feeling, then Zen or Scandinavian styles will probably be right up your alley. For your third activity, I want you to capture the style that you will be using for your room on your guide. As a reminder, you can choose to have more than one style in a room or home, but it's important to choose a primary style and then choose one or possibly more secondary styles. Here are the main styles again with a representative photo next to each of them. First, we have contemporary, then traditional, transitional, mid-century modern, industrial, urban modern, coastal chic, Scandinavian, French country, Zen, bohemian, farmhouse, and Western. Now go ahead and jot down the style or styles that most appeal to you, or that most closely reflects the style that you already have going on in your home, if you want to stay with that style, of course. Step 4, choose your color scheme. In the world of design, both interior designers and color specialists will work with you to choose the perfect paint color or to help you choose the right color scheme for your home. But personally, I think that this can be done pretty well on your own if you follow an easy, straightforward formula. So here it is. First, pick a neutral that you love as your base. Neutrals include today's very popular gray, or it could be beige, or brown, or grayish, which is what happened when gray and beige had a baby, or anything in the white or cream family. Black is also technically a neutral. However, most people don't want large amounts of furniture or most of their walls to be shades of black, which I understand, although black is a fantastic color to use particularly in certain styles, such as industrial, transitional, contemporary, urban modern, and Zen. So pick your neutral. I personally have different shades of grayish on my walls throughout my house, as I love gray, but I have a house with primarily beige tile floor, so grayish walls allows me to easily integrate gray pieces of furniture with the beige floor. So sometimes I'm asked, can I have two main neutrals in a room? You can, but if you do, it looks best when you have one that's dark and one that's light. For example, dark gray and a lighter beige, or chocolate brown and light gray, or dark gray and a light grayish. Once you have your neutral or neutral selected, now go ahead and choose 1 to 3 accent colors. The best way to choose your accent colors is to take a look at your closet and see what color clothes you have in your closet. People, including myself, tend to buy clothes in colors that they love and know look flattering on them. So why not decorate a room in a color that you both love and you know will look flattering in when you are in it? For me, I love blue, so that is one of my main accent colors throughout my home. If you choose to have only one accent color like blue, then a room looks really rich and layered if you pick items that are different shades of that blue. Now by shade, I mean either a lighter or a darker version of that color. So for example, in the case of blue, maybe you love a bright blue like the Caribbean. Then be sure to incorporate some lighter and darker versions of that color into your room. Can you see how using different shades of a color in a room creates so much more interest than one shade? Now, if you decide to have more than one accent color, then here is what you want to do to get it right every time. Either choose to have an analogous color scheme or a complementary color scheme. So what does that mean? Well, analogous just means that these colors sit next to each other on the color wheel, or also on a rainbow. So for example, a warm color scheme would be red, orange, and yellow because these are all warm colors. A cool analogous color scheme would be green, blue, and purple, as these are all cool colors. Analogous color schemes are often found in nature and are generally quite pleasing to the eye, so you can't go wrong here. Conversely, a complementary color scheme refers to colors that sit opposite each other on the color wheel. So orange and blue look great together, and so do yellow and purple. The other piece of your color scheme that sometimes people forget about is what color you want the hard surfaces to be in your room, meaning the legs of your tables, legs of your sofas and chairs, bases of your lamps, etc. Colors for hard surfaces generally include chrome or silver, brass or gold, various shades of wood, or black such as wrought iron. Chrome or silver looks best with contemporary, transitional, mid-century modern, industrial, Scandinavian, and Zen styles. Brass or gold looks best with transitional, mid-century modern, and bohemian styles. Wood looks best with the following styles: traditional, coastal chic, bohemian, French country, farmhouse, western, mid-century modern, and urban modern. Black or iron goes best with an industrial style. So now I'm sure you're asking yourself, can you mix hard surface colors? Of course you can. But just like with the styles, I generally recommend choosing one main hard surface color and then using small amounts of another hard surface color throughout the room, unless you have a really large space, in which case you can mix them at nearly 50-50. But in general, think 2/3 of one hard surface color, like silver, and then 1/3 of another hard surface color, like brass. So that, in a nutshell, is an easy formulaic way to pick a great color scheme every time. So to recap, pick your neutral, pick 1 to 3 accent colors, and then pick the color of your hard surfaces, and there you go. Now, a final note about color schemes. If you intend to paint the room, I strongly suggest that you wait until you've purchased all of your furniture and your accessories before picking your paint color. There are literally a million or more paint colors, but not nearly as many choices with your furnishings. So I will pick out all of the furniture and accessories first, then I will choose my paint color. So how do you then choose your paint color? Well, first you want to decide on the mood of the room. Do you want a light and airy or a warm, moody, or romantic feeling? If you're going for light and airy, then choose a light color, and it can be either a shade of your neutral or one of your accent colors. The darker the color, the moodier the room becomes. I personally love dark paint colors, but I use them sparingly. For example, I chose a dark charcoal gray color for my powder room, and it looks very dramatic paired with primarily gold and some silver accent colors. Also, consider how much light the room gets. In general, northern-facing rooms, which generally get less light, do best with a lighter paint color, unless there are a ton of windows and/or you live further south on the equator. And southern-facing rooms, which generally get more light, can definitely handle darker hues. Also, if you have a room that you are trying to make appear larger, I would recommend a lighter paint color, as a lighter color will help the walls to feel as if they are receding. Conversely, if you have a really large room that you want to appear smaller and cozier, then I would recommend you use a darker color, as dark colors tend to make walls appear as if they are advancing. But again, design rules can always be broken, and in nearly all cases, I think you should go with what type of mood you ultimately want for your room. And finally, remember that paint is the easiest thing to change out. So don't be afraid to experiment, because you can always paint it again fairly easily. So now I want you to jot down some possible color schemes that you are interested in on your guide. Here are the main neutral colors again. Which one or ones are you drawn to? Here is a color wheel again. What accent colors would you say reflect your personal style? Finally, choose your hard surface colors and finishes. Remember, when thinking about metal finishes, consider selecting more than one, as mixing metals, if done well, will look great. Step 5. Choose your rug. I am a firm believer that nearly every room, except maybe the kitchen, should have a rug, regardless of the type of flooring you have, even if you have wall-to-wall carpeting. So why do you think that is? It's because a rug always helps to pull a seating arrangement together and helps to define zones in a room. I also start with the rug because it's easier to match pillows, lampshades, etc. to a rug than the other way around. There are 3 factors to consider when buying a rug: size, color, and material. Let's start with size first. If you are going to go with just one rug in a room, then I recommend buying the biggest rug that your room will comfortably fit. By that I mean you do want at least 18 inches of space between the wall and the edge of your rug. That said, many family and living rooms can accommodate an 8 by 10 rug easily, and perhaps even a 9 by 12 rug. Also for family and living rooms, I think a rug looks best when either all of the legs of your main seating furniture are completely on the rug, or you have the front legs of the furniture only on the rug, like this. It generally doesn't look right if none of the feet of your seating furniture is sitting on the rug, as the rug then looks like it's just floating in your room rather than being anchored. For bedrooms, I love placing rugs under beds. For a bedroom, you want to extend the rug from the bottom 2/3 of the bed about 2 feet around the 3 sides. For a dining room, ensure that your rug extends at least 2 feet out on all 4 sides of the table, like this, so that when you pull back the chairs, you'll still have all 4 legs sitting on your rug. To figure out the perfect size rug for your dining room, simply measure the length and the width of your dining table and add 2 feet to each dimension. That should be the minimum size of your rug. Finally, a rug looks best when it matches the shape of the room. For example, use a rectangular rug in a rectangular room or a square rug in a square room. You can use an oval rug in a rectangular room or a round rug in a square room as well. You can also use 2 rugs to create different zones in a room, particularly if it's a large open floor plan. But make sure that something ties the 2 rugs together, ideally color. Now, let's talk about what type of rug you should get in terms of color and material. So first, for color, I think it's great when the rug is the color of or has the colors of your accent colors. So if your accent color is blue, then find a rug that has a lot of blue in it. Now, whether to go with a solid colored rug or a patterned rug, don't be afraid to go with a boldly patterned rug, which can act like a great piece of artwork in your room and will add amazing visual interest to your space, like this, or for a more toned down approach, something like this. If you do choose a pattern rug, then I would greatly limit any other patterns in the room so that the rug really stands out and shines. If you go with a solid rug, such as a jute or a sisal rug, then definitely try to add some patterns on items like your throw pillows, your window coverings, etc. Although that being said, there are some styles like contemporary, Scandinavian, and Zen that are often completely devoid of patterns. In terms of the material for your rug, there are so many materials out there, and choosing a material should be based on your style as well as functionality. So first, let's talk style. A wool rug, generally considered the gold standard for quality, works with just about every style out there. You can find wool rugs at different price points, from a couple of $100s to tens of thousands of dollars. Synthetic rugs like polypropylene, a much less expensive option, also look great generally with every style. However, a jute or sisal rug, like the one shown here, doesn't look so great with an ultra-traditional style. It's much better suited to transitional, industrial, coastal chic, Scandinavian, Zen, bohemian, and farmhouse. Now, that's not to say that you can't use a jute or sisal type rug in other styles. It just may be a little more difficult to pull off well. Real and faux cowhide rugs are incredibly popular right now, and they look great with obviously Western, but also many others, including industrial, contemporary, transitional, urban modern, bohemian, and farmhouse styles. For high traffic areas such as an entryway, choose a low pile or flat weave rug, mainly so that your front door doesn't get stuck on the rug. Finally, it's generally best to keep high pile or shag rugs to less frequently used places like your bedroom. The best places to buy rugs include rugsusa.com, wayfair.com, overstock.com, and hayneedle.com. They have a huge selection at various price points.